Epic Readers. We are here today with Tris Thorp, who is the author of Healing Your Heart and the companion Healing Your Heart workbook, which just came out just a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, just came out. It's brand new, hot off the press.
Yes, and we have we've reviewed it here in our January-February issue of Epic North County. And I am also working through the workbook since I've read the book.
Very nice.
I think they're fantastic.
Great.
And we are so lucky, North County, because Tris lives locally. So she does a lot of events locally, as well as online events if you can't get out and if you don't live locally or you're not in the town, because you also travel all over the place.
Constantly.
Yes. So tell us about your upcoming events. I'm super excited.
Okay, well, the first one is actually online. I have a 3-part webinar series coming up on the topic of forgiveness. So we're going to launch that. The first webinar is on Wednesday, January 15th. So that's next week, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Then the second one will be on Wednesday, January 29th. And the third and final installment of that will be on Wednesday, February the 12th.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
and
so
it's free, is that right?
It's free. It's a webinar series. I love to do webinars and just share a little bit about some of the knowledge that I've picked up over the years, tools and practices and techniques. And since I specialize in the realm of emotional healing and also coming off the holidays as well, there's just been a lot of conversation with my clients and just in my social circles and within my family around the topic of forgiveness.
It's huge. It's huge. I've been doing a lot of forgiveness meditations myself, and mostly what I'm coming to now is self-forgiveness. So
that's a big one.
That's what I keep coming back to.
It's so interesting, right? Because in my live events where I do a forgiveness process with the group, I always take them through forgiveness of others, and then I follow it up with forgiveness of self, because we often tend to think that when we think of forgiveness, it's usually directed at somebody else,
right,
for something that they have done, and very rarely do we stop to think, what about the things that I've done in my life to hurt other people or to violate a boundary in some way?
Right, or what was my part in this situation?
That's right.
And that's what I've come to after years of doing forgiveness of others, is that's what keeps coming up. It's like, wait a second, you're missing someone.
It's such a huge piece, and that's what part 3 of the webinar series will be.
Nice.
So the first piece will be just really talking about what is forgiveness. Why do we care? Why is it so hard to do? You know, what are the things that really hold us back from being able to forgive or being willing to forgive? Mm-hmm. And part 2 will be a whole process and a guided visualization on how to move through a forgiveness process with other people. Part 3 will be focused solely on self-forgiveness. Nice. And another guided visualization to take the audience through.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I have signed up for it, and so we get to join live, and then you'll have the recording available at a later time.
Yeah, anyone who registers for the webinars, if they're not able to attend them live, they will be sent the follow-up email with the link to view the recording at their leisure. And if there's any handouts or guided visualizations that I've recorded to support the webinars, then they'll have access to that too.
Great. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And then for our local readers.
Yes. So for the local people,
So
I've got a really fun event coming up on Saturday, February 1st at Cape Ray, which is such a lovely little boutique hotel right down the road.
It's beautiful, right on the water.
Right on the water. I'm looking out over the ocean, and the room that we're going to be in has these lovely double wide French doors that go out onto a little terrace. Lunch is included. So we'll spend an entire day. This event is called Always Be Rising. It's been a big theme in my life over the last year of really wanting to, well, I've been going through a lot of personal stuff, and so every day I'm like, how can I be a better human, and how can I improve my interpersonal relations, and how can I also be leveling up as a human in life in general? Mm-hmm. How can I be doing more in the world and contributing to my community? And so I wanted to name this event Always Be Rising. It's a women's event, and the tagline is teaching women basically women's empowerment through leading with truth, integrity, and grace, really.
I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be conversational and interactive, and really we're going to be focusing on navigating emotions in difficult times, because I think that that's such an important thing for all of us to learn. How do we deal with the emotional fallout of everyday things, from the smallest inconveniences to the biggest life-shifting events that occur.
Right.
So we'll focus on how do we navigate our emotions in the moment in life's crazy times. And then we'll also focus on conscious communication.
Nice.
How do we design and then deliver communication, because a lot of us struggle, right? Mm-hmm. None of us want to have those difficult conversations, and yet if we know how to do it in a way that unfolds potential, then we increase the likelihood of both parties coming out with a win-win.
Absolutely. And happier all around.
Yeah.
Instead of simmering beneath the surface.
Yeah. Pretending up here that everything's fine, when in actuality down here things are still brewing.
And then you feel so free taking care of it. And the outcome could be even more powerful than you can imagine.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
It really strengthens bonds that are meant to be strengthened. And it also can bring things that are not meant to be there anymore to an end, but in a compassionate way, in a strong and clear and compassionate way.
Yeah, and I love that you're doing this live and in person, because most of this work that we would want to do with someone else would be in real life.
Yes.
And it's nice to get offline.
Yes.
For me. And I've signed up because you've given Epic readers a code.
Yes.
Use code EPIC and you get a nice discount.
That's true.
Yep. So I will
Nice
be
chunky
there.
discount.
Yes, and I
Great.
hope to see you there. It'll be a really wonderful, beautiful, powerful day.
I think so. And the last piece that we'll be talking about that day is also how to set and enforce healthy boundaries coming from a place of love.
Nice.
Strength, but love.
Yes.
So it's really women's empowerment, leadership through truth, integrity, and grace. How can we stand in our power? How can we stand in our truth, but do so in a way that allows us to be graceful and articulate and still being able to handle business that needs to be handled.
Yes, and it's something that's powerful for every aspect of your life.
It's true.
Personal, professional,
and
what's outside of personal and professional.
well, just our interpersonal relationships. I mean, if you think about it, we as human beings are interacting with other people all day, every day.
All the time.
All the time. And so how to communicate, knowing how to communicate consciously is what enables us to strengthen the relationships that we have, whether that's with our family, our spouse, our children, our friends, our peers in the workplace, as a community. And also people really struggle with setting boundaries.
It's huge, yeah, especially as women, because I think we know that we are capable of doing so much, and we want to do so much, and sometimes that's at the expense of our boundaries and our personal well-being. So.
Well, we get scared that if we put up a boundary that will hurt somebody's feelings,
exactly,
or that they won't love us anymore, or that we'll get fired from the job, when in actuality when we're in strong, healthy, empowered relationships, those types of things, boundaries and conscious communication, are so appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And powerful for strengthening those relationships.
Yeah.
And also encouraging all of us to be a part of our community by healthy communication. That's one of the huge ways of doing that.
And we'll be doing a lot of interactive exercises, and I'll be teaching tangible, like step-by-step processes, and there'll be handouts and things, so that anyone who attends this event will be able to leave this event and go back home and sit around the dinner table with their family and say, hey, I learned this really great method of conversing, and sharing, and let's put this into practice.
Nice.
Or if you want to take it back to the workplace and introduce it in your next team meeting and say, hey guys, here's a great conversation that we need to have. Like, how do we communicate?
Right.
in this space, and how do we cultivate and foster that openness where we can have healthy disagreement for the purpose of just exploring so many different potentials within that creative space and work.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, that's huge. And I know that we're done with our winter holidays, but we have spring holidays coming up, so we'll have more opportunities to be with our families and put these things into practice.
Exactly.
If you're feeling it now, a little bit of the family hangover.
From the holidays, we're still traumatized. Not me. I bundled up on my couch for like 3 straight weeks, and I just watched Outlander.
Oh, fun.
All 4 seasons.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so fun.
I'm all ready to go this new year.
That's a good network. I mean, series.
Yeah.
I read
so
all the
great.
books too, which are fun.
Yeah, I've heard they're amazing.
They're so good. Yeah. Historical.
Yeah. I love timepieces.
Right? Okay, well, we hope to see you online and also in person at Cape Ray. Thank
Perfect.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tris.